Christianity, why Ken's wrong. Christianity annoys Ken Wheeler because it contradicts his cherished belief in a perennial philosophy reflecting neoplatonism. Find out why the angry photographer doesn't understand Christianity, perennialism, or neoplatonism, and how his claims send his viewers on a fool's errand. Christianity is the world's largest religion. It has more than 2 billion followers across the globe, and they make up almost 1/3 of humanity. Christianity began around 30 AD with the historical Jesus of Nazareth. He was an itinerant Jewish preacher and healer who spread a message of love, compassion, and repentance. Jesus ran afoul of religious and Roman authorities, and they crucified him during a Passover celebration in Jerusalem. This became Christian theology's central event. With missionary zeal, Jesus' apostles traveled throughout the Roman Empire, spreading his teachings as they understood them. The apostles targeted major urban centers and communicated with one another in writing. This led to the Gospels and Epistles, which eventually formed the New Testament. Ken Wheeler is a harsh critic of all organized religions. His animosity springs from his commitment to a belief system called perennialism. Perennialists believe that beneath the surface of all philosophies and organized religion, there's a single unchanging wisdom accessible to everyone. Naturally, the angry photographer claims that this universal philosophy conforms precisely to his speculations. Kentucky Ken is a dedicated follower of Plotinus, who founded Neoplatonism, so he also presumes that the perennial philosophy and Neoplatonism are identical. The Theoria Apophasis host claims that Jesus' original teachings came from perennial philosophy and Neoplatonism. As he puts it, all true serious Christian metaphysics is based upon the works of Plotinus. According to Ken Wheeler, Jesus' followers and the Roman Catholic Church corrupted Jesus' perennial philosophy. Plotinus believed in the absolute, the one or the good. According to Plotinus, this impersonal one is the source of all being. Our souls can ascend toward the absolute, according to Plotinus, by developing intellect or pure thought as a divine principle. None of this bears any resemblance to anything Jesus taught. Jesus believed in Jehovah or Yahweh, the traditional Jewish God, whom the Torah depicts in very human terms. So the notion that Jesus spread perennialist or Platonic ideas to his followers is nonsense. As evidence for his hypothesis, Ken Wheeler points to the works of 2 ancient philosophers, Celsus, The True Doctrine, and Porphyry's Against the Christians. The trouble with this approach is that neither of these documents exists anymore. All we have are critiques written about them by Christian authors. Besides, neither Celsus nor Porphyry suggested that the historical Jesus taught ideas compatible with their own, nor did the Christians writing against them mention any such views. Celsus and Porphyry objected to the idea of Jesus' divinity, and most of the claims of Jesus' divinity come from later Greco-Roman sources. So Ken Wheeler's contention that the idea of Jesus' divinity came from Judeo-Christian revisionists is false. The angry photographer also tries to draw parallels between Christianity and Buddhism. According to him, these faiths only arose because of support from 2 emperors, Constantine and Ashoka. While it's true that these 2 rulers converted to Christianity and Buddhism, respectively, the 2 religions were already well established in their cultures at the time. In fact, the only reason these 2 monarchs adopted them was that they were now mainstream in their domains. The Theoria Apophasis host also takes Christianity to task for valuing mere belief over wisdom. Everyone who remembers the parable of the wise man who built his house on a rock while the foolish man built his house on the sand knows that Jesus placed enormous value on wisdom. In the epistles, Jesus' brother James writes, "Who is wise and understanding among you? Let them show it by their good life, by deeds done in the humility that comes from wisdom." Christianity has traditionally valued wisdom and compassion, or, as Paul put it, faith, hope, and charity. It has always encouraged the integration of faith and reason. The notion of salvation by faith alone, or sola fide, comes from one of the angry photographer's biggest heroes, Martin Luther. Summing up, Christians believe a wide range of things about all of these topics. That's why there are at least 30,000 Christian denominations throughout the world. Religions evolve over time and as they spread to other cultures. That makes it impossible to isolate or identify the true or original version of Christianity or Buddhism or any other major faith tradition. Philosopher Herman T. Katz published a devastating paper refuting the claim that all religions stem from a common metaphysical root. He wrote that by rejecting perennialism, one is in a position to respect the richness of the experiential and conceptual data involved in this area of concern. God can be God, Brahman can be Brahman, and Nirvana can be Nirvana, without any reductionist attempt to equate God with Brahman or Brahman with Nirvana. Ken Wheeler is wrong when he appeals to a pre-existing perennial philosophy that unlocks the secrets of life, the universe, and everything. Speaking of which, there's another Bible verse that seems appropriate. Proverbs 18:2. Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions.